R&B vocals, R&B vocals. It's not complicated. Let's do it. What's up, guys? My name is Tiny. I'm a music producer, songwriter, and today we are going to mix some R&B vocals. I'm going to give you guys the super sauce, all stock plugins except for the auto-tune, because Ableton doesn't have auto-tune. So you guys can literally follow along with any like DAW that you have, because it's just compressors and EQ. You'll be able to do it real quick without any problems, and you'll see how it's going to sound like from the raw vocals to the final product. It's not the only way to mix R&B vocals. It was my way for doing it for this specific song. Before we do get into the video though, I just want to tell you that all the links for my socials are down below. You can follow me on Twitch where I do live streams, follow me on Instagram. I post stories in the studio, outside, whatever. And you can also check out my music down there and other services like my beats and mixing and mastering for you. So let's get right into the video, guys. All right, so I got these vocals here and we are going to listen to them already processed in the context of the song. So let's just get the best part of the track, because there are some re-recordings that the artist has to do for this track. So I think my favorite part of the song is literally the hook, so I'm going to show you guys that.
This away, and I love you for trying to keep hurting me together. 'Cause I'm crazy and you're feeling that feeling of stormy weather. Yeah.
Alright, so now that we have that, you can see here that for this track specifically, I'm gonna go over the main vocal and I'll tell you guys what I did after for the ad-libs and like all the layering.
'Cause I'm crazy and you're feeling that feeling of stormy weather. Yeah.
So this part, she actually just sung it really well. It doesn't really need any re-recordings. I just slapped on a little bit of auto-tune here, the trusty old Antares auto-tune, put it at 30 retune speed and 100 humanize, just to get that flowy humanness going. And yeah, the retune speed at 30 is really slow. If you want to sound like T-Pain, you could use exactly all of these tips that I'm going to do and just put the auto-tune on max. So it's up to you how you want it to make it sound with the auto-tune. So after that, I just have down here, it's a glue compressor from Ableton, because Ableton doesn't have de-esser. So you have to kind of like make your own de-esser, which is pretty cool. In Ableton, you can make all kinds of like compressors that compress different parts of the like EQ range. So a de-esser is basically just a compressor that's compressing the high end of the EQ, basically taking out all the S's.
'Cause I'm crazy and you're feeling that feeling of stormy weather. Yeah.
So it's keeping all the S's and T's consistent at a certain volume, which is what I want. And we'll compress the vocal after I EQ it here. I just take out the bass and raise some of the highs to actually bring up the S's again. I could have just done it with the makeup here, but I like to see on the frequency range how much I'd like to boost up. So it's up to you which one you want to boost, either the makeup here or the high end of the EQ. So with the EQ, the S's and the T's are going to be boosted, but still stay at a consistent volume, so it's not going to get ever annoying. And obviously with the bass taken out, it's going to sound much clearer and won't interfere with the mix of the actual song.
And I love you for trying to keep hurting me together. 'Cause I'm crazy and you're feeling that feeling of stormy weather. Yeah.
Okay, so now it's time for the compressor. This is where we're just going to flatten out the dynamics of the track a little bit. I like to compress the vocals quite a lot, but I do turn down the attack by a little bit compared to rap vocals, because it is more R&B. I want more of a slower compression happening. So usually for rap vocals, I'd have it at 0.01. And now I have it at 0.1. So let's take a listen.
And I love you for trying to keep hurting me together.
All right, so by doing that, we're basically bringing up all the frequencies of the track again. So I want to EQ out the bass completely. I'm sure you guys already know what this does. It just takes out the bass. And then I put another compressor that is very light to bring up the volume again. It gives a different tone of the compressing after it's compressed again. So let's just take a listen now. It's going to be louder as well with the output that I raised.
'Cause I'm crazy and you're feeling that feeling of stormy weather. Yeah.
The only problem I saw after listening to it was that at this specific part here with when she says keep, when she says the word keep, the de-esser doesn't seem to be acting up and cutting out the k sound. So let's just take a listen and see how it's gonna peak on the bottom here.
To keep her.
So we don't want any of that peaking. So I put a limiter on top of it to cut that peak down. We can now see that it is no longer peaking on the bottom.
To keep me.
And then I add a little bit of reverb on top of it. And that's where we have this vocal.
Feel this away. And I love you for trying to keep me together. 'Cause I'm crazy and you're feeling that feeling of stormy weather. Yeah.
So what I did for the other tracks, I copy pasted the same plugins and the same parameters, and then I tweaked them a little bit for the compressors to reach a little lower because they are lower volume, as you can see. I could have just boosted the volume of them to make them the same gain as this track, but honestly, it's not much of a problem. Let's say just the layers with the beat, and we can listen to them what they sound like. So there you go. That you have it now. You know how to mix a little bit. So yeah, this style of R&B singing is like hard compression and then taking out any transient with like any k sounds after you de-ess them, obviously, because the de-esser doesn't pick up on everything. So there you have it. Now you know how to mix R&B vocals. It is not the only way to mix them, obviously. A lot of R&B songs have less compression. It's just that I work a lot with hip hop and I like to experiment a little bit with the hard compression. So usually what you want to do is maybe make the threshold a little less on each of them here to kind of soften the compression. If you want that more soft, maybe 2000s R&B, just a little bit less, because compression does go a long way in making your vocals sound consistent. So you don't want to back off too much on the compression. Usually at around medium compression, that's like what R&B really is. I have like medium to high compression. So hey, that's all what it is. That's all it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned a little something about the ordering, because I know for my mixing rap vocals, it was a little different. I had them in a different order because order does affect the plugins when they're placed in certain ways. So yeah, hope you guys learned a little something, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe for more music production content like this. More music on the way. Check out my music in the description down below. You can check out my beats as well, my mixing and mastering services. Also check out my socials. Follow me on all my Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, all that jazz. My name is Tiny, and as always, I'm signing out.